That's kind of something to say.
Yeah.
So I think maybe our first big question would be, why did you decide to get into it now?
That's a loaded question, because that actually is a subject of which I have a lot to say. But the gist of it is, I kind of wanted to do something for me to take kind of agency of my own life, and also kind of retake my sexuality back in my own hands. I feel it's been weaponized against me in my life, and I also feel like, so much of, you guys know how I feel about things on a political aspect, right? Like, I just think that so much of our society is a huge scam. And, I had been a dancer at a club in Atlanta called Swinging Richards for like 8 years. And, I really enjoyed that. There were some things about it I didn't really enjoy, but that's true of every job, right?
Yeah.
And, for shortly before I joined OnlyFans, I actually worked in healthcare staffing. I worked for a company called Snap Nurse, and it was great. It was part of that whole like remote work revolution. And I got to make really good money at first, because the company was built in like that COVID environment, which was a bit artificial. And so once the federal government stopped subsidizing a lot of these travel nurse contracts, the money kind of dried up, and then the company culture kind of shifted, and a bunch of things shifted. And that's just how it is, in corporate America. Like, when things are great, things are great. And when things are not great, then shit hits the fan. And it's just how it is. And it was like, I'm kind of tired of being like at the mercy of the people I work for. And I'd rather work for myself. If I do bad for myself, then I do bad for then at least it's, myself, and not because of somebody else's decision. So I wanted to do something that, to be honest, first of all, you could even ask my sister. I've low-key wanted to be born since I was 17 anyways. So it's kind of like a long time coming, to be fair. Yeah. But I wanted to do something that I thought that I would be good at, that would be fun. Don't know how long I'm going to do it for, but for now it's been pretty cool. I wish I had started sooner.
Yeah, I remember seeing your post saying, I think I'm about to start doing this, or something along those lines. And then I feel like that can't have been more than 3 or 4 months ago, or has it been longer?
Maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, because
then I was in prep for this interview. I looked at your Twitter, and I was like, oh, he's really dived in. Like, I didn't expect to see so much content. So for those who aren't familiar with you, they should know you already have a lot of content that looks like that you've been doing.
Yeah, baby. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it.
I'm going to say, out of like all the people we've known, like, who started doing it, I will say you are the one who jumped in the quickest, at least from where we're standing. We've noticed, you were really collabing and posting, and like, you just, one day you popped up on our Twitter feed, and then now you're just always there.
Yeah. So. I was like, oh, I know that person, I know that person, I know that person.
I'm glad that like the marketing's worked out that way. There's a lot of marketing that goes into this. There's a lot of work that goes into, how we're going to even edit the videos, how we're going to market them, and like, we're making a product here. It's very much a business that we're running.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because it's fun, and it's cool that I get to read the comments from people who like stuff. So far, everyone's been very positive and very supportive of everything I've been doing.
Yeah.
Who was your first video? Did you do a couple solo stuff?
Actually, my very, very, very first collaboration was with KCJ and his husband, Jax.
And from San Diego.
From San Diego. It was funny because I was in Provincetown, and work was pissing me off. Yeah. They were like, it was just crazy. They were like changing these initiatives. Like, yesterday we were doing one thing, today we're doing another. And like, I can roll with the punches, but it's just kind of one of those situations where shit rolls downhill. So they were changing things. They were having ridiculous expectations of us. And I was like, this shit is for the birds. And I literally, I was hanging out with my friend, Malik Delgatti, who I had hung out with at a few occasions before. And I knew that he, was doing adult content. And I literally just turned to him. I was like, I was logged into work, and I turned to him and I was like, I'm ready to do this.
Get me out of here.
I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, I'm going to be in San Diego. I actually reached out to him like the day I decided that I was going to even do an OnlyFans. I made the Twitter. I reached out to him. I was in San Diego maybe like 2 weeks later.
Yeah. So are you doing studio work too? Then you are.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, right now, I'm just working with Sean Cody. I'm not exclusive to them. They haven't made me sign anything.
Yeah.
But if I work with anybody else, then I can't go back with them.
Yeah.
But I actually really, really do like working with them. They pay really well. They treat me really well.
I hear they pay really well.
Yeah, we're friends with some of the like boys for them. And they have said they pay probably the best.
Yeah.
Most of the people we've talked to do both. But I think also we fall into a little different category because we are a couple.
I was just, even when I was talking to Michael, he was just like venting about being his own editor and his own sound person and all this other stuff that they have to do. But that's where he's like, oh, I like studio because I don't have to like do anything other than show up. I mean, you know, that's work in itself. Do you like studio versus OnlyFans, or do you like OnlyFans more than studio?
They both have their advantages. I mean, I actually even agreed to do Sean Cody because I figured I was a no-name.
Yeah.
And I did Sean Cody.
It's a great way to meet people.
Right. That would market me like that.
Yeah.
Just get out there. The irony is the first video I shot for them hasn't even released yet, and I'm already doing both.
Yeah.
We didn't need them. Let's say if I were to do things a little bit differently, I probably would have shot for Sean Cody and banked up a huge like library of OnlyFans videos and stayed at my job.
How long was the, you know, overlap there with your job and when you started?
It was probably like when I got the dates to fly to San Diego, that's when I put in the PTO.
Okay.
And but it wasn't because I was like I have all this back. I never took a day off.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna use all the PTO and then I'm gonna leave. Because they're not gonna pay it out before I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I work at. So I'm taking my PTO and then I'm leaving. So that's what I did. So it was
you pretty much were like, I'm starting this. I'm not gonna have any overlap.
I was like, fuck it, let's just fucking do it. Like let's just fucking
didn't give yourself any out, basically. So are there parts you like of it, parts that you don't? Are you loving it all? Are you just loving the freedom?
It can be a little overwhelming because like you said, another colleague of ours mentioned that there's the editing involved. And when I first started, I kind of was very hands off, right? Like I was like, let me just see what works and what doesn't work. I didn't really have an idea on how I wanted the videos to look. I didn't really have an idea on like whatever you guys film, like you make it work. And like, but now, like as I kind of gone along, like I actually bought, I've been a huge Android Google fan since forever. I bought a bunch of Google Pixels because of like the camera capability in them. And so now I have like in my mind, like what angles I'm going to do and like exactly like the point of views I'm going to do and the capabilities of these cameras, like how that's going to work. And like I have a whole system now in mind and how I want it to look. Whereas before I had no idea.
Are you building your own little studio there where you live?
Yes and no. So the thing is actually, I've been an actor for 9 years. Technically, I still am because I'm still getting. I just booked a commercial. I don't know how that's happening. I've been waiting for my agency to kick me off. I even told my agent I'm doing this. They don't seem to care. Yeah. Necessarily OnlyFans, which is more, and I wish I'd just done it much sooner. But because of like my career in Hollywood, I didn't want to. But honestly, for Hollywood, I don't care. You know, like that industry is so toxic. There's so much homophobia within the industry itself, anyways.
Yeah,
that is part of what I mean by like I feel like how my sexuality has been weaponized against me.
Yeah,
there's a lot of do something that makes me happy, that I'm gonna have fun, and like is also gonna be a little bit more financially secure for me. So I actually already had some stuff because the industry has moved towards self-taping. So now this is another thing I don't like. Auditions, traditionally you go to an office, the casting director tapes you and then sends your tape off. Now they want you to tape your own auditions, and some actors think like that's great because you can do it as many times and send the take that you like that works. I don't like that because I feel like one, when we self-tape, the casting director doesn't get the opportunity to see you, to meet you, to kind of get your vibe, to see like this industry, I just feel like really, really deprioritizes the actor so much so that it's just not something I really care to be much of a part of anymore. So so the irony is I already had some equipment, I already had some lighting stuff, I already had some C-stands, and
I see the ring light back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like as time has gone on, I would say for us, you know, you start with like the one camera and the bad lighting. Like I look back at our first couple OnlyFans videos and I'm like, whoa, this lighting is really bad, but people still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it just, it's a learning process. It's a learning curve, especially when you're doing it on your own, doing it yourself.
I think part of the reason why people still enjoy that stuff anyways is because it has an authenticity.
It's authentic. Yeah. It was always authentic.
For me, anyways, I know the kind of porn that I like is like the really nasty amateur shit that like.
That's my favorite too. Like someone has an iPhone in their hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's my favorite.
Like
so that's like what our videos are very much like that.
The video we did with Bo, it's all, we had 2 cameras going. So we had like 3 angles plus, and 2 angles in the POV. And we just posted the POV because at the end of it, we're like, the POV is the hottest one. Yeah. Because it's like up close, raw, like in the moment. Like, I don't know. So I love it. So has it affected anything you're doing? Like, I know you're very involved in politics. Like, are you still just like going at everything, just not giving a fuck? Like,
I am just not good at fuck. So far it hasn't really impacted anything in my life.
Yeah.
I actually think it may have sort of strengthened the relationships with the people in my life. Anyways, like no one's been really unsupportive of it. No one said anything unsupportive of it. All of my friends, like even my mom is like, cool, you know, like it's been I've not had a negative experience with it yet.
Yeah.
It has impeded me in any kind of way.
Yeah. So your mom, just kind of to ask about that, like how did that conversation go?
Well, she knew that I was dancing at Swinging Riches for a while. And
yeah.
So I guess this is like, the next step up from that. But I called her when I was on my way to San Diego and I was like, hey, so I'm doing a thing.
I'm doing a thing.
I'm doing a thing. I was like, and I'm starting OnlyFans. Do you know what that is? And she was like, I kind of have an idea what that is. I was like, we make videos ourselves and then we post them and people pay for them. And you know, she was like, okay. And then like she didn't really ask much more questions, but then she called my sister. And then she talked to my sister. My sister told me my sister was one who kind of like filled in the blanks.
Yeah.
Because my mom did have questions, but she didn't.
Yeah. You know, I wonder if because my parents did the same thing. Like they know that we do it. They don't know to the extent of like what's on there. But my siblings,
not that we know,
my siblings probably do. And I wonder if they've ever even asked them. But my dad was mostly just curious about like, how do the taxes work? I'm like, Dad, don't worry. Like we're incorporated. Everything's fine. And he's like, oh, that's really cool. So they just pay you? Like they just pay you? I don't know. It's just...
I feel like we still did it at a time where it was frowned upon more.
It's so trendy now.
Yeah, I feel like now it's like everyone, I just assume most people have one at this point.
I actually that's another thing. Like I kind of wish I did it before it was cool, you know? I'm not, I didn't start now because it's like, I'm not the type of person to wait until shit is like cool and popular and say, I'm just gonna fucking do it. I mean, I want to.
Yeah. Well, we started like right when we started dating, we started separate ones and then just merged into one like 2-3 months later.
Yeah,
it was easier.
What's like your biggest promotion avenue? Are you using just Twitter? Are you doing other, or is it just kind of the collaborating with other creators?
Yeah, for now it's just Twitter and it's like whatever, like I guess whatever the other people I work with, how they're the videos I'm in the stuff, however they market it, like, you know, kind of helps cross promotes. But that's another part of this aspect that I'm still trying to figure out. Like I'm one of those people that like I'm a learner as you go, for better or for worse. I'm very impatient. I'm very just fucking do it. Let's just do it and be legend.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'm like, I probably could have taken better advantage of that situation if I thought about it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But,
I've totally done that. Every time we do something, I'm like, oh, I could have done it this way and it would have been a little better. Or even just doing these YouTube, you're our third one. And like the first 2, I'm like looking at them, I'm like, oh, I like them, but I'm like, oh, I could have done this.
You are a very what if guy.
Yeah.
Should have asked it like this.
Shoulda,
coulda, woulda, you know, that's what I always say to them.
But even, I mean, like, you know, probably like the next step for us is like, I want to get off this camera of the computer and I want to buy a camera if we're going to be doing Zoom calls, like a better camera for us, you know, just like stuff like that.
A question I have for you is, how do you like the expectations you had, like, did they pan out? Like financially, are you making more or less than you initially thought before you started? The stress, do you think it's more or less than what you initially thought it would be?
I am doing better than I thought that I would.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's great. I'm doing better than I thought that I would. But I'm like kind of at a point right now where I was a little overwhelmed with like just the amount of things that I have to like touch base with, and like arranging the collaborations takes a lot of effort sometimes. And there was like a 2-week period that I'm just not getting over, where I was like kind of not as hands-on, and people noticed.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, from doing it for so many years, you know, your subscribers like consistency. So, you know, if you do something a certain way for a certain amount of weeks and then you stop, then they'll start coming at you like, where's this video, or where have you been, or that sort of thing.
Right. I mean,
but what you always got to remember is that it's always going to be your brand, your page, your job. So don't ever feel bad about how you run your business.
We got a few minutes left. So next, I just want to ask you what's next? What's on the horizon? What collabs, what studio stuff, anything? Or just life stuff. What's going on with Axel? What's next?
I have a few videos that I need to finish editing, get them out there. It's funny. I've been in Chicago, San Francisco, LA, Miami, New York, and I've made videos there, except in Atlanta, where I live. And there actually are a few boys here in Atlanta with whom I could collaborate with. Actually, no, that's not true. I think my very, 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 I lied about my earlier answer, by the way. My very, very first collaboration actually was with Rick and Griff.
I knew it. I knew it. That's
why wouldn't it be?
That's what I thought you were going to say first.
I lied.
Yeah. I hooked up with them, but before I had an OnlyFans, it was like 5 years ago. They didn't ask to film at that time, but yeah. They're like I feel like they'd be the go-to. And like
they're the OG.
They're the OG. They've been doing longer than us. They're why I started. I remember it was like a year after I had met them. They were in LA, and he showed me his monthly statement. And this was like 2018 or 2019. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was with an ex at the time. And I was like, if I'm ever single, I'm doing this.
Right now I'm just trying to like get my shit together, right? Because long story short, like beginning of the pandemic, lost my job. I was actually living in LA at the time. My house burnt down. It was a whole thing. So I'm just trying to like work myself out of this like situation. Yeah. I'm in, and it looks like at this pace I'll get there. So
that's great.
I'm focusing on that. I want to buy more proproperties because I own property. I use it like for rentals, and
we just started.
Yeah, that seems to be that's the secret. You know, you kind of
How many do you have right now?
I own 2 multifamily buildings and I have 4 units in total.
Okay.
And
I think you had them when we had first met you. I remember you talking about them. I think like something, I don't know why this is all like just coming back to me. I think like something had broken down, or something was
the fire.
Was that the fire? Yeah. It was that. Okay. I'm sorry, it's been so long since I've seen you.
Yeah, I know, it's been a minute.
So are you trying to buy more right now, or just like saving up?
Right now I want to get out of this. Like, credit card debt is the worst thing that can happen to you, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing that could happen to you, but it's up there. So I want to get out of that. Then I want to be able to save, and then, get my shit together. Like, get this, because obviously I can't do OnlyFans forever. So I need to capitalize on this moment, sling this dick, and this.
I mean, that's literally our plan right now too. I'm like, all right, we got the first house down. Let's get another one. Let's get some multi-family units coming. I'm all for that. You know what I need for this? We should have like a rapid fire where like I have like 5 or 6 things that I.
What are you, Andy Coe and Bravo?
Biggest turn on.
Biggest turn on. I can't. That's just not appropriate for the internet.
YouTube's fine.
Kinky.
Favorite thing to do when you're filming?
When I'm filming?
Yeah. I guess probably top. You're top, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a top. Say fuck. Like,
just get right.
Yeah, I'm corrupt. Don't listen to me.
Honestly, there was a point when we got so far in and we looked back and we were like, oh, every video we posted, it was just us fucking. We didn't have any like jacking off or like rimming or any of that. And we were like, oh, wow, I guess we should make some of those.
I love rimming.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, I know.
What we were actually posting was just like fucking all the time. And I was like, oh, maybe people want other stuff too.
Yeah. So anything that you want your fans to know that they might not know just from watching your OnlyFans?
Well, I'm still learning. You know, it's not the thing is it's not enough to just do the porn, right? You have to be like a social media personality.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to do all of that, you know.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before about like my political aspirations, I'm still very much that. I was late to this meeting because I was in line early voting, casting that ballot early.
Good for you.
And I'm also trying to like stay true to that message because, as you know, that stuff is very important to me. I'm very progressive. I want to get this message out there that we need to show up.
Okay, last question. When are you coming to LA again?
Maybe.
You coming for Halloween?
Maybe December. No, I'm going to be in New York for Halloween. Actually.
Oh, you're doing New York for Halloween. Okay. Well, we'll hopefully see you soon. Again, we really appreciate you hopping on to do this. I mean, I had fun. It's good to catch up. I haven't talked to you in forever, so.
Yeah. But when you're coming back here, let us know. We'll hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe do some work.
All right, Axel, real quick, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram under the same handle at Axel Rockham, all one word. I'm working on doing some other stuff. I might do a YouTube thing too, not necessarily doing like everything, but I'm going to be a whole thing. But for right now, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, OnlyFans.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna have to go follow you on TikTok. All right. Well, again, guys, that was our. No, that's not what I want to say. All right, again, I want to thank you for being here, Axel. This was our third episode of Only Creators, where we sat down and got to know Axel Rockham a little bit today. So stay tuned for our next video next week.
Yeah, that's all we have.
All right.
Thanks for having me, boys.